Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucs. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. As always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped the 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast. It is a Victory Monday here on this September 22nd, 2025. Hope everybody out there is having a wonderful Monday, whether you're here in the Tampa Bay area or abroad. A little bit of a different look. You see our second sponsor here on the program, Evra Health, joining us. So a big thank you to them for joining and coming on board to the program. And of course, we can never forget our original sponsor, Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, 813-244-0956. We'll talk more about both of our sponsors as the days go by, the weeks go by, the months go by, but make sure that you're showing them a whole heck of a lot of love right here on the program, on the Recher podcast. I always want to hear from you. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them there at the bottom of the screen. Also, kill that like button, man. We need as many likes as humanly possible, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Twitter. I need you hitting that like button. Let me know that you're watching the show today, and like and subscribe on YouTube as well. And man, if you want to get in on the conversation today, feel free. The link right now is in the chat. You can join on the phone, on the laptop, StreamYard.com/UP38AHPJ94. Hit that link right there in the chat, and you can join in on the conversation. Plenty to get into today, including the Buccaneers moving to 3-0 on the season after that thrilling win over the Jets. It's just never easy. It's never easy for you Bucs fans out there. And especially yesterday, I had my Recher's rapid reaction. I thought I was good. Let's do it. And then the Jets take the lead. And then the Bucs, you knew they were going to come back because they have that resilience. What a crazy game. What a crazy 3 games to start the season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Ian Beckles joins us for his weekly visit at 12:30. We're going to talk about a lot of different things on the program today, including Drew Brees and the bug that he has up his ass about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and how he continues to say nobody's scared of anybody in that division. Well, Mr. Brees, I have a reply for you at 1 o'clock today, so make sure you don't miss that one. Also, college football, right? Looking at so many different things that happened in the college landscape. USF with a big-time win over South Carolina State. Listen, this is what they needed to do. They need to get back on track after that whitewashing at the hands of the Miami Hurricanes, and we'll talk about them, and the Gators, and Syracuse caught cheating. Also, what was that? WrestlePalooza over the weekend flopped. Arsenal scared again against Man City. The final week of the MLB season with teams that are just leaking oil. And I'm going to end the show today with a final word for Stu Sternberg. You know, I just read the article from John Romano of the Tampa Bay Times, and I really appreciate John's writing. He's such a talented guy, and I appreciate that he has a completely different perspective than I do in this. I think it's the right time. It's the right time to move on. It's the right time to get a new owner in here. And I just think it's time for a refresh. It's time to stop looking at the Tampa Bay Rays like they're the little sisters of the poor. I know that they are in a league that doesn't have a salary cap, but like this victim mentality that the Rays come with. And like we're grateful for just to have them. Like it's just a weird, like, again, they're like scorned lovers. It really is. It's like an abusive relationship. It's so sad. Like we don't experience that with the Bucs. We don't experience that with the Lightning. And the Bucs were the worst team in sports just a couple of years ago. But for some reason, it's just like, I don't know. I've always said the Rays at times brings out the worst in people. And I want that to change because we should be proud of our baseball team in every form or fashion. And you just have so many people that are diehard baseball fans that are just so flippant and so apathetic when it comes to this team. It's got to change. It's got to change. It really does, because we all deserve better. I've said that since day one. As baseball fans in this Bay Area, we deserve better. Let's get to some of your comments here. Benny, David Terry's throwing shade at Benny. Where you at? Way to go, Bucks, Knowles, and Liverpool. David also says Baker deserves the MVP as of right now in the league. Benny, there he is. LFG, Rays win, Bucks win, Tampa Bay wins. Janet Best, the Cardiac Kids did it again. BP Meds for all Bucks fans. Dolan, while we're waiting, good afternoon, everybody. What a game. Love having a quarterback that's good in the clutch. Those uniforms look crisp. Love seeing all that orange everywhere. Victory Monday, Bulls and Bucks, LFG, Carlos Baserva. Greg Cruz, he can't handle these at 57. I'm with you, buddy. Trying to stack the sponsors, my friend. Let's see, man, a lot of comments already today. Knowles and Bucks undefeated. We'll take that. First Bolts preseason game tonight on spot. Yep, out there in Carolina. Lady Evil, what a day. After party at Riveters was off the chain. Good, man. That's awesome. No, when it's easy in the NFL, see the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, the one player on their team talking about, oh, we might go undefeated. Nah. Consider the source. Drew Brees is nothing but a wannabe cage. And look at my guy, Will. Happy birthday to Will. Hope he is well. Nathan Elliott, I saw your picture from the tailgate on Sunday. That was pretty badass. Shout out to Nathan Elliott. Officiating was very questionable. There was a lot of penalties. I don't know if they were questionable, but outside of the catch to Lazard in the end zone, which I didn't think should have been a catch, and the catch down the sideline to Emeka Ibuka that I thought was a catch. More on that in a second. Hello to all you degenerates out there. I wonder how many Tide Pods the Red went through after all that dirty laundry they left on the field. I like that. Frozen, there we go. The Buccaneers pulled another victory. That is what Super Bowl teams are made of. Jay, question, where do you think Rays will have? I have no idea where they'll have FanFest next year. No clue. But I want to go back to kind of like what Louis is saying here and some of the things before. I put this out on Twitter, and shout out to our guy Chan, $5 super chat. Man, the super chats were at an all-time high last month. It goes from like August 20th to September 20th. And this past month was the highest ever super chat that we've ever had as far as the accumulation. Guys, I can't thank you enough for that. That's the way we're going to keep this thing rolling, is contributing via the super chat. The $1, $2, $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever you guys can do to contribute to the program. I can't thank you enough. When we get this T-shirts up and running, it should be done by the end of this week. I need you guys buying T-shirts. I need you buying T-shirts, friends and families. And when we do special, like one-day sales for special slime T-shirts for USF, I need everybody to hop on and help out. But Chan's been there for a while, and I can't appreciate you enough, my friend. Coach Bowles, Coach of the Year, Baker's League MVP. Injuries decimated us. I know. The freaking sage I did last week didn't freaking work. I tried to do my part, guys. 14 penalties for 121 yards. We have to clean that up, and special teams needs to do a better job. You got that right. And we're going to be doing the subscription service. You're right, Greg. No doubt about it. Bring on the wardrobe is right, my friend. All right, so I put this out on Twitter yesterday, and I want to say this again. Bad things happen in sports, right? You get calls that go against your way. You have injuries that happen. You have penalties, self-inflicted wounds, but good teams overcome that all of it. They find a way. I've been saying the Tampa Bay find a ways. They did it again. I look at the Eagles yesterday, losing the majority of that game. Huge block of a field goal. Jordan Davis with the touchdown. They found a way. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they don't ask you, how'd you get your 3 wins? They don't care. Nobody cares. Go out there and win. Be the team standing at the end. That's why I think a lot of this stuff with Drew Brees is very lame. Oh, well, all the Bucs did was find a way at the end to win. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That's what good teams do. You should know. I'm not going to apologize for the Bucs being 3-0. I don't care. Was it pretty? Hell no, it wasn't pretty. But they won. It is tough to win in the National Football League. The Jets scored 21 points in the fourth quarter yesterday and lost. They're 0-3. And we're going to compare the Jets and the Giants later because I got plenty to talk about with that shit. My God, that dumpster fire. Stop putting the Giants on primetime TV. Ain't nobody trying to see that. I'm a kid that grew up a Giants fan. I don't want to see that. I hope the Giants games are on at the same time as the Buccaneers game, so I don't have to watch them. damn, I tried to get a bet in last night. Sterling Shepard over yards, Garrett Wilson over yards, and Bucks winning, and I didn't get it in time. Sucked it. I would have definitely won that bet. But you look at the Bucks, starting off a little slow, but there were some good things that I really saw in that game. Antoine Winfield Jr. looks like a guy that is really kind of rounded back into form. He seems like a guy that's playing at an all-pro level once again. You saw it yesterday with the strip sack. Vita Vea comes up with the recovery there, which was a beautiful thing. Jake Parrish continues to impress. This guy, there was a play where Tyrod Taylor was going and he was making a play in the middle of the field, and you see a lot of young players and they overexert themselves and they take themselves out of position. We saw that a lot with Devin White, like throughout his tenure with the team. But Jacob Parrish breaks down, great form tackling, brings Tyrod Taylor down, a sack later on. He's just exactly what this team needs. Exactly. And I love it. I'm a huge fan of Jacob Parrish, and Benjamin Morrison made a couple plays too. So I mean, it just goes to show you that Jason Light, man, when he brings these guys in, he knows exactly what he's looking for, and they put those guys in a position to succeed. That's what good coaching is. Really, man, I was so impressed. Chris Greenwood, glory. You got it, pal. Man, you with a win somehow, some way over Chelsea. Again, not pretty. Casemiro, I don't know what you're doing. Thank you, Louis. Definitely deserve the super chat today. Really appreciate you and what you do for the Tampa Bay sports day after day. Thank you very much. Greg DeCruz, Aaron Glenn was getting roasted by New York media for dancing on the sideline. Look how stoic Bowles is. Buck stayed calm and just took care of business. Now, I want to answer that, Greg, because the one thing that I really don't miss about New York is that everybody's so negative. So negative. They're losing their mind right now. If you're covering the Giants, I get it. The Jets, they're still young. First-year coach, your quarterbacks, you don't have your quarterback of the future yet. Your roster's not as talented as a lot of other teams. You're certainly, I think, the least talented roster in your division. My guy Jake Asman last week, I know he was freaking out at the end of the game. Yeah, it's tough because you're passionate about it. But as much as I don't like when people take shots at Todd Bowles for being stoic on the sidelines, I'm also not going to take shots at Aaron Glenn. I like energy, man. I like passion. This guy's 0-2. He's like, it's an incredible play Will McDonald made, right? That's like you come all the way back on the road against a damn good football team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're fighting, you're scratching, you're clawing. That's a huge win if the Jets come away on top yesterday. And that play right there is indicative of it. It just happens, right? Like, let's not forget Bruce Arians was the guy that was the head coach here for a while too, and he was pretty passionate as well. So, I mean, I'm not going to hate on him for that because I think, there's some good things there with the Jets, and I'll get into that a little bit later on. When you have to burn sage, you have to open the windows and let the bad juju. You're right, Louis. You're right. I screwed it up. Chan says, I love what Aaron Glenn brings to the table going to the Jets, though. I mean, they put a stink on players and coaches. We'll see. Parrish to Chan looks like a young Rondé to me, blitzing, tackling, covering. It's not a bad comparison at all. And I know what you're saying, Greg. The game wasn't over. And I don't think he was acting like the game was over, but I just think he was excited, man. I don't want to crap on people for their excitement. But with that being said, the one thing that I really loved yesterday in that game is Jamel Dean getting the pick six. And I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday, but I want to play it for you here. We got a chance to talk to Jamel after the game yesterday, and he's just such a nice guy. I saw Jamel in the airport last year with a significant other, and they were just like, they were going on a trip, and it was just so cool to talk to him. And hey, man, where you going? He's like, we're going here, we're doing this, getting away. And I'm like, good, man, get away. You deserve to get away and have some fun and get away from football for a little bit. So here's Jamel Dean yesterday. I asked him about the pick six. We all did. But I asked him about like the team's resilience and coming back. And, as I'm trying to talk to him, we got interrupted by a very rude quarterback. Here's what Jamel Dean had to say yesterday.
What does it say about this group now, 3-0, late victories? I mean, to be able to, maybe not the cleanest game, but to be able to come away with the win in all those games.
I mean, it shows that we're going to fight to the end, and then that we're trending in the right direction, knowing that each game we don't give up until the last second's over. Yeah, appreciate it, Baker.
What does it say?
I mean, come on, man. It'll get better. Like that's a tight knit group right there. Because Jamel's a quiet guy, man. He really is. He's a quiet guy. He's a good dude. And when he yells out there and he's like, when you hear Baker like showing him some love, like that means a lot. He's like, appreciate you, Baker. Like he's a soft spoken guy, but listen, Jamel Dean took a lot less money to stay here. Okay. Or like this year. And through 3 weeks, I mean, the guy's been good. The guy's been one of the better corners in all of football. And this is the Jamel Dean that we saw like early on in his career when you put him in a position to succeed. And I told you guys this from the beginning. There's a lot of different storylines, and a lot of people want to talk about like Baker this and Bucky this and Hassan Reddick and all this stuff. Like, you really have to take another step into really like what corresponding moves help other guys get better, right? And I thought that with Hassan Reddick, yes, it could possibly help Yaya Diaby. Good to see Yaya get on the board with a sack yesterday. But if you can rush with 4 more, you give Todd the ability to call the defense the way he wants to call it, right? And you get these corners to be able to play a little bit more press man, even just a little bit closer, and knowing that regardless of the team, because Jamel was playing off of Garrett Wilson just a little bit during that route, and he comes back and he makes you just have more confidence because you don't know, like, you have an idea of, okay, I'm covering the guy, but I'm not going to have to cover him for that long because the pass rush is going to get home. In years past, Jamel kind of waiting. I got to cover a guy, Yeah, at times he's going to get beat over the top, but you're talking about a big physical corner. When everything is in front of him, Jamel is a really good corner. And you saw that with Zion too, not afraid to stick his nose in there. And that's the type of cornerbacks that Todd likes on the outside. Now, you're going to have some guys that may be a little bit undersized, like Antoine Winfield Jr. and Jacob Parrish, but those dudes are not afraid to stick their nose in there either. There was a lot to like in that game yesterday. I still continue to show a lot of love to a guy like Sterling Shepard for a guy that was on the couch just a couple of years ago. And now to be able to see him go out there and be that safety blanket for Baker, where would we be without Sterling Shepard these last 2 seasons? The guy's there. He's reliable. He makes big catches when you need him. I just love that relationship. Love that chemistry between him and Baker. And, Greg brings up a point yesterday. Some of the things we didn't necessarily like too much is David finally showing his age, missed several tackles and a sack. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that we've seen that for the last couple of games, with Levante David missing some tackles on the sideline, whiffing on the quarterback a little bit, and just, it's just something that you hope that he can, correct here. But the leadership that he brings, like, it's so invaluable. It really is. Perry, Todd mentioned yesterday at the press conference that they lived there. Yeah, no, I was there, Perry. I was there. It's in one of those games where it looked like you had the game in control. And unfortunately, you can't do that in the National Football League. Can't do that. Not at all. Yeah, Nathan says, you like Sterling Shepard, that crazy lunatic? Yeah, that's what Baker said after the game. As much as it was great to win the game, and it was 3-0, they're 3-0 in the season, there was a little bit of a and like Christopher Cole says, gritty, not pretty. Mike Evans going down, let the air out of the balloon. And I think that was one of the biggest things. When Mike went down, you look at this team and you start looking around and go, oh, no, not again. Just because the way he went out, like you saw it on the field, he's hobbling off the field. He comes off, he goes down to a knee, he punches a cooler, and then you see him just walk to the, he has to be helped back to the locker room. And you're like, you've seen this story before when it comes to Mike and his hamstrings. Like, it's a pain for him. It's got to hurt him. It's got to hurt him. Rough, because this is a guy that has played, big catch yesterday in the end zone. I thought he was winning those battles with Sauce Gardner. And after watching, like, Sauce Gardner and let's see what time. Hold on, guys. I want to see. I just got the email from head coach Todd Bowles is speaking in about 10 minutes. So we'll have an update for you guys at 1:00 today. For Mike, watching last week against Derek Stinley and then this week against Sauce Gardner, like, I don't know, man. Like, Sauce is good, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't see the same guy that I did his rookie season. He just looks very lax out there. He's not as physical as I think we once saw. But yeah, it was rough. But for the Buccaneers, you just got to keep punching and keep punching and keep punching. And, the kick by Chase McLaughlin. Listen, Chase bounced back in a big way. I'm not blaming him for the one that got, messed up and the one that got blocked. But for him, like, I like what I saw. I like that Chase was able to bounce back. It was so much better. Amrad, did I miss the ref ran already? I wanted to hop on the field yesterday and take him out. Yeah, I mean, listen, as far as the holding penalties go, like, it was a makeshift offensive line with Haggard out. I mean, you had Elijah Klein and Luke Haggard out there. Like, it was going to happen. It was going to be ugly. And I'd rather it be holding penalties than Baker taking 9 sacks. Now, the call in the end zone, the Lazard catch that didn't look like a catch, terrible. The catch by Emeka Egbuka, I just don't understand how you get that wrong. There seems to be this thing in the NFL when there's a call and it just seems like everybody knows what the right call is, and you kind of look around and then the referee's just like, keep playing. Like, why? We're all watching the play together. I'm sure some of the Jets players even said to themselves, yeah, it looks like a catch to me. It's very strange. Very strange. I don't get it, man. You could hear Mike on the sidelines after it came off pretty clearly on the radio broadcast. Don't let the FCC know. You got that right, buddy. The offensive line was being held up by duct tape. You're right. And I just hope that Mike's not out for an extended period of time. He's probably not going to, I would guess that he's not going to be in there for Philadelphia. Again, we'll find out from Todd Bowles here in a little bit, but hopefully you can get Chris Godwin back. Hopefully you can get Tristan Wirfs back. We'll see what those guys look like when it comes to like their availability for the Eagles, because 2-3-0 teams. It's going to be a hell of a matchup between the Buccaneers and the Eagles, no doubt about it. And I was thinking about this too. They need to be cautious with Mike. His 1,000 streak is in jeopardy, but he'd rather be playing in the playoffs. Yeah, I get that, man. But, I mean, I was worried about that yesterday, and I was looking at how many yards. Only 33 yards yesterday. He's got 140. 140 through 3 games. He needs 860. Let's say he misses 4 games. Let's just say 4 games, right? So that's 7 down. He's going to need 10. So you need 860 and 10. So you're going to need to average 86 yards a game when you come back in order to try to get 1,000. It's going to be rough, man. You need a big 200-yard game for Mike. You know, force feed the hell out of that guy. We got to get it, man. We got to get 1,000 yards for Mike as well. But, man, it's just that doesn't help. Hopefully he's not out for 4 weeks, though. Hopefully it's just a 2 or 3 week thing and he can come back and do his thing. But, yeah, shout out to the Buccaneers and how resilient they were. And it wasn't just him, right? He wasn't the only injury yesterday, right? He wasn't the only one, because when you look at what happened, odd how the spread was 6.5, and after they allowed Lazard, it was a 6-point game. You're right. Chris Hall calling that a catch in the end zone and not even reviewing the Egbuka catch even after Bulls burned the previous timeout to give them a chance to is egregious. I don't disagree with that at all. You are spot on. And there you go, Honest Hammer. It's all love here, baby. Welcome to the screen team, EverHealth and Honest Hammer Custom Builders, my crew right here, the tag team champions of the world right here. Yeah, and I know he said it yesterday that he tweaked his hamstring. So we were there in the press conference yesterday. So it was like yesterday. That's the reason why you tune into the show, because this is why I go to the games. So downstairs, didn't get a chance to see Mike come off the field. I only go down with like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So I go down there and I'm waiting, and then we go into the locker room and we get Todd and Baker first. And usually when Baker's done, then we go into the locker room. And yesterday was one of those games where not a lot of people were in there when we got in, like back in there. Like Shep was gone. Chase McLaughlin was there. That was another big one. Zion McCollum, Ben Bredesen, Graham Barton. Nobody really talks to Vita. Vita's just chilling. But like, I think Levante was gone. Mike was definitely gone. Ibuka was there for a little bit. Jamel Dean was there, obviously. But it was just like one of those things where it's the mash unit. If they can get guys out so they don't have to talk to the media, it is what it is. Unless you score like a huge game, like you have a big game. But yeah, Mike, no talking to Mike yesterday. We didn't even see Mike. So hopefully it's not that serious. Sergio Biltris brings up a great point. Where is Cade Otton? 0 targets for Cade Otton yesterday. And we saw he had an opportunity in the Houston game and he dropped one. And when you have a new offense when you're going from Liam Cohen to Josh Grizzard, and we know in those offenses, the tight end's not a big part of the offense anyway, you wonder what's going to change, right? For the better or for the worse. And I think with this offense, like you're not seeing much when it comes to passing the ball to the tight ends. And it's not just him, it's also Payne Durham. And when you look at a guy like Devin Culp, who was inactive yesterday, all right, you're not going to really use those guys in the passing game. And you are going to use them a ton when it comes to helping out with blocking, right? Like that's what you need when you know that your starting 5 is not I was talking to Graham yesterday and I didn't get a chance to interview him because he had to take a shower. And I was like, dude, I'll get you in a couple weeks. But with Graham and Bredesen and Charlie Heck, right? And then you have 2 guards in Klein and Haggard. You need Kokeeft in there as much as humanly possible. You need Otton in there as much as humanly possible. You need Payne Durham in there as much as humanly possible to block and to help out and to chip and do whatever it takes to take care of Baker Mayfield. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. It is not important the amount of holding penalties yesterday. You can't, that's what's going to happen. That is a cause and effect type of thing. The most important thing is that they kept Baker upright. That is way more important than the holding penalties. I would have taken 20 holding penalties as long as Baker doesn't get hit. That is important. True Grit, Baker Mayfield, a.k.a. John Wynn. Baker, bro, in the house. You got that right, buddy. Also, Christian Izzian out. That hurts. Logan Hall also out. You're going to see more Roberts. You're going to see more Greg Gaines. You're going to see more Anthony Nelson. I mean, another guy that really hasn't shown much is Chris Braswell. I really haven't seen much from him. I thought yesterday would be an opportunity for him to do so. A couple of good rushes from Hassan Reddick. I just didn't have the greatest game either. I give the Jets credit. They kept fighting. And for a team that literally gave up, it looks like, against the Bills, they went into Tampa Bay and they took a bunch of shots from the Bucs and an absolute gut punch at the end of the first half yesterday when Jamel Dean ran back that interception for a touchdown. Like, they could have folded. They could have lost that game by 40. But they hung in there and they hung in there. And yes, I agree that the Bucs did take the foot off the gas a little bit. But, if you're the Jets and their fans, I think you need to keep things in perspective a little bit. You're not there. You're not close to being there. So you're playing against a team that has not just playoff aspirations, but Super Bowl aspirations. And you were hanging tough. I really like what I've seen from the Buccaneers and their ability to just kind of snap and, bad things happen. There's a belief. Baker Mayfield knows what it takes. Baker had 4 rushes for 44 yards yesterday. He does such an incredible job of knowing when to scramble and knowing when to stay in the pocket and continue to keep his eyes downfield. He might do that as well as any quarterback in the game. Because when you look at Baker, he's never going to run like a guy like Lamar Jackson. He's never going to run like a guy like Josh Allen. It's just not him. His is going to come from plays that break down, his ability to scramble, get outside the pocket, but he just knows he doesn't go to that well too many times. He runs between 3 to 5 times a game, and then that's it. Here's the thing. If he ran 6, 7, or 8 times, then you're not fooling anybody. Then you're changing the defense a little bit. Maybe they keep a spy on you, but there was a play yesterday where he got a first down. He got to the middle of the field, got up almost to the second level there, and he almost pump faked, and he got the middle linebacker to kind of just just move a little bit. He didn't jump all the way up in the air, but it just got him to flinch a little bit where Baker was able to kind of get around the outside and get the first down. And a guy stays down, right? And is a little bit probably more disciplined if he's used to a guy running. Like there's still a little bit of that element of surprise. And again, he's on the short list for MVP candidates because with everybody going down around him, there's one constant in that Buccaneer offense, and it's number 6, Baker Mayfield. This guy's a constant on our show every Monday at 12:30. He makes it a whole heck of a lot better. The one and only, the winner of the weekend, I like to call him, Ian Beckles. What's going on, brother?
Why was I the winner of the weekend? Indiana?
Bro, we're going to get into that. Shellacking.
Yeah.
You deserve that win. Bro, I was watching. Let's start Indiana. We'll get to the Bucs in a second. Bro, I saw something over the weekend, and it was like, oh, Indiana, they're going to come back down to earth. Illinois is not messing around. It's a top 10 team. And the first time I checked the score, it was an absolute ass kicking. Like, that is a statement win if I've seen it. Like, there's been a few statement wins in college football so far this year, but that one was like a red stamp exclamation point. Like, how great was that game?
Well, it's funny because I like to dabble in gambling a little bit.
He's a dabbler.
I'm a dabbler. And people love to say, oh, I can't believe Vegas always gets it right. I put money on Illinois, okay, getting 7.5 points, okay? I'm thinking it's a coin flip, okay?
Right.
These are two good teams. How far off were they? How far off were they? Don't tell me that they're always right when you're off by 50 points.
Jeez.
50 points. Indiana's for real, dog. I mean, it gets to a point now where, you could have 3 games or 4 games and look a certain way, but when you put last year's season on to what they're doing this year, you got to respect what they're doing. And I'm not a guy
Right.
just likes to blow cats, but they look different, man. When they get on that football field, they ball out, brother. They play hard.
Yeah, it's kind of like strange. I think they should be ranked higher. I don't know how you went from 19 to 11. Like, I don't know how you're not a top 10 team right now. You just beat the shit out of the number 9 team in the country, right? Like, they went down 14 spots. Illinois was 3-0 at the time. They were the number 9 team in the country, and you beat them that bad. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think they should be a top 10 team. Like, I don't know why Texas is 10. They should be 10. I have them over Texas A&M. Like, they're always going to get probably the crap end of the stick, right? That's just kind of the way it goes because they're a quote-unquote basketball school. But, man, this has been probably the best era of Indiana football since you left. Would you agree with that?
Oh, it's not close.
Not close,
I mean,
right?
there wasn't much of an era before I got there or after. And, I mean, to be honest with you, rankings, okay, say they rank them 3 this week, okay? It won't be any different than 11 at the end of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Right,
they
right,
still
right.
got to beat whoever's in front of them anyways. You could probably get one hiccup, and the hiccup can't be to, a Wisconsin or a Northwestern. You got to have one hiccup to maybe an Ohio State or Penn State. But at the end of it, you can't have more than one loss.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to really matter in the end.
Did you see my video about the Sage with the
I did not.
Oh, I did a video on Sage. I tried to sage the show here to try to prevent more injuries for the Buccaneers.
Oh, too late, bro. When did you do that?
It was Friday, and the Sage was like a big white thing. It looked like a joint. I said it looked like Ian Beckles.
That was raggedy. That was some raggedy Sage, bro, because they falling, bro.
They're falling.
Is Mike Evans done for the season?
No. It's a minor grade. They said hamstring. It'll be a couple weeks. He'll be back.
Okay, well, I look on Instagram and I don't know what's false and what's. I heard because ESPN saying he has a torn,
No.
Okay, good. That's good.
Nah, it's just it'll just be a couple weeks. It's just aggravating more than anything. All right. So tell me if I'm right in saying this because I always defer to you, obviously, but I always feel like I pay attention to offensive line play way more now since knowing you. I feel like I could give 2 shits about how many holding penalties yesterday that the Buccaneers offensive line had, as long as Baker is upright. I would have taken 25, right? Like I don't care what you got to do in a game like that, looking back on it, hold as much as humanly possible. Those 5 guys stick together, hold hands, just keep Baker upright. What do you agree? Do you get what I'm saying there? Because we know they're not good. We know they're not good, Beck. We're not. Okay. I'm not talking about them like the Bucs offensive line in the beginning. I'm talking about those 5 guys yesterday, dude. Just don't screw up the rest of the season.
Well, I can say this, okay? Nothing's a big deal when you win.
Right.
if the Bucks lost that game, and it was pretty damn close to losing that game,
Yeah, it was.
we'd be saying how bad this offensive line is. So I can't change. I
Right.
can't, because they're not good.
They're
Okay,
not.
and the reason why you're always holding is because you're always getting your ass kicked. Now that's real. I mean, I heard people say, "Why are they holding?" Because if I'm better than you, I'm never going to hold you. I'm just going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
So they were getting their ass kicked on the regular. I want to applaud a lot of these guys to go out there and be in different
Right.
positions.
That's
and
what I'm
fighting.
saying. Yeah.
I get that, but listen, you ain't beaten. You beat the Jets at home in the last possession.
Right.
That's not. It's going to be harder than that, yo. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Hell yeah.
and that Jets defensive front is okay, other than Quinn Williams, other than that. But you know what's coming into town? Monsters. And if Tristan Wirfs doesn't come back, I'm gonna tell everybody right now in Buckland, if that line ain't 10, I'm putting my money on Philadelphia if they come in here and Tristan Wirfs is not back. Because I don't see, and you know what really scares me is that our quarterback, who I heard you talking about him earlier, I wouldn't trade our quarterback right now for anybody but Patrick Mahomes. Right now, I don't think anybody in the league would suit this team better than Patrick Mahomes, and I just think he's a brilliant quarterback, and I think he might be the best ever. Baker Mayfield is the reason why this Buccaneer team is 3-0. Period. Because if I ask you, what are we getting from our tight ends, good or bad? Is it good or bad?
No targets yesterday.
Okay.
None.
Is our offensive line good?
No.
Our play calling hasn't been great, but we're 3-0. As our if I just say, is our wide receiver core playing great? The answer is no. Okay, we're making plays here and there, but we're not playing great as a whole. We need to hear some more names. Ibuka, it's funny, Ibuka, just before he made those 2 brilliant catches at the end, I was like, where's he been? He made a couple of early catches, and then he disappears, and then he shows up. He's a brilliant player who's going to be brilliant for many, many years. But if you say right now, is our receiving core good? I would say no. But we're 3-0, so there's only one thing it could be, and it's Baker Mayfield for me.
What do you see from the defense, though, Beck, too? I mean, I think they're playing better, too. Like, we talk about complimentary football. Listen, the special teams has been shit, too, right? I mean, McLaughlin bounced back yesterday, making some huge kicks. Obviously, you got the one block. You can't put that on him. But he made some big kicks yesterday, including the last one. But defensively, man, I feel like, with Vita in there, Kalijah can't say obviously banged up, but you lose Logan Hall yesterday. But Antoine Winfield Jr. seems to be really getting back to that level. And these young kids, man, Jacob Parrish and Benjamin Morrison, Jamel Dean goes, hey, after I scored the touchdown, I went to the sideline and everybody said, hey, you finally caught one. So I was like, hey, that ain't us hating, that's your teammates. But I feel like the defense, that's why I was so high on the Bucs this year, because I feel like they were just going to be incrementally, just a little bit better. And if you're just a little bit better from all these different guys and guys are healthy, I think they really have a chance. And the division sucks anyway. So I just feel like there's a lot of things that go into this, but it all comes back down to health, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we're not missing a whole lot defensively. I be honest with you, in the first 3 games, I think we played better defensively than we have offensively.
Agreed. Easily.
I just think there's still a lot of plays to be made.
Mm-hmm.
There's still too many drops. We've dropped too many interceptions. But as a whole, we're not giving up those big plays. We're not giving up a lot of points. We're not getting enough sacks, but we're getting enough pressure to keep the quarterback uncomfortable for the most part. It's going to get harder, though, guys. And that's the thing. With this Philadelphia team coming in, all right, everybody's saying, woe is me, woe is me. This Buccaneer team really is built to beat Philadelphia, okay? And even Philadelphia, when they're at their best, it seems like the Buccaneers play well against them. That's not me saying that they're going to hold up this time, because I do not know how they're going to hold up front. I really don't. And I just want to make sure, if you think you're going to go through a game and not run the ball 30 times against Philadelphia, and if you think Baker's going to be standing at the end, I'm not sure that's going to be the case. So I hope that's their game plan, is to run it down their throat. Philadelphia has a lot of monsters in there, though.
Big balance yesterday. I mean, outside of I think you and I can agree, when we're running the football, you've always told me, Jay, it's not about the yards, it's about the carries. 30, and I don't count the Baker ones, right? Because those are scrambles. But if you just take the passing attempts from Baker and then the rushing attempts from Bucky and Rashad, Baker threw the ball 29 times yesterday. Bucky ran it 25. Rashad ran it 5. So the balance was there from Josh Grizzard. But I think it's hard. Like, are you really going to be able to execute your full game plan when your offensive lineman is you just don't know, right? I don't even know if he knows the name. We didn't even know what the offensive lineman is going to be until the first snap with Elijah Klein and Luke Haggard. Luke Haggard sounds like somebody that's in a country band that is working at Ruth Eckerd Hall. Like, we don't even know what's going on with some of these guys. When you watch the offensive line specifically, was Tony there yesterday?
No, Tony was at on the field. Tony was celebrated.
I didn't see that. When you were watching the game yesterday, what were some of the things that I know you just said they were getting dominated, but what in particular were you looking at when you were watching the offensive line yesterday?
They had a couple okay runs, but as a whole, they didn't win the line of scrimmage. I mean, when you're just watching the normal runs, you can feel who's winning the line of scrimmage, and the Buccaneers haven't been doing that. Hey, it's a lot easier to call a stretch play when Tristan Wirfs is your left tackle. You know what I mean? And you have everybody else is in the right position. And when I'm hearing Haggard names and listen, they literally had I wrote them down on my list because I don't know. I'm about to do a podcast and I don't even really know the names. Then Luke Haggard was a name that came up, and other names. I've never heard of this guy before.
Elijah Klein?
Yeah, and I was like, I've heard the name before, never seen him, never seen his number, and they're calling holding penalties. I go, well, no shit. Okay, he's never played before. So what do you expect? Mm-hmm. So it sounds, I think to the layman's, it sounds easy to say run the ball. But if you just straight up say, okay, we're going to run the ball. First down, run the ball -1 yard. Now it's 2nd and 11. Now what?
Yeah.
So just run the ball is just not a thing. You have to run the ball efficiently, okay? Because if you run the ball on the first down at 2nd and 11, you can't run the ball again. You're throwing the ball, and now you're putting your offensive lineman behind the 8 ball. So you have to run the ball, but it has to be an efficient thing. And it's a situational thing as well. But I don't think we're good enough up front just to pound anybody anymore.
You're still trying to find that identity, right? Through 3 games, you think? What's the identity through 3 games? Baker in the D?
You say that. I don't know if you can see my writing right here.
Yeah, look at that.
It says right here, it says offensive identity, question mark. I don't think we have one.
That looks like Derek Sharp's handwriting.
Right? I don't think we have an offensive identity.
Oh, we lost you. That's always happens when somebody calls or there you're back.
There we go.
You back? There we go. Oh. Hold on, bud. You're muted. Hold on. You're muted. Can you hear me? Oh. No. Go back out and come back in. We need you. There we go. He's coming back. He's the best. It's a good point. Come on now. He's got to go search back in. See, what happens sometimes is when people call and you try to swipe up on it. Yeah, I know that's the hard part. You have to hang up on the call instead of swiping up. That's the only way that you can kind of get back into the conversation. Come on, Beck, come back to me. I want to know how Chamberlain did last weekend too. He's got a great point though, man. When you think about it, you can't just run the football. You got to run the football efficiently. And when you have a big time matchup coming up with the Philadelphia Eagles, you got to do it right. You got to do it right, or you're going to be in big, big trouble going forward. Come back in, bro. Come back in. It's just these phone calls are so funny sometimes. We had a couple weeks ago, or not a couple months ago, it was Gabby Shirley and Bobby the Chief Taylor. Sometimes these things it works perfectly for weeks. There you go. Sometimes when you get a phone call and you try to swipe it away, it takes off the video and the audio real quick.
But people got to know I'm busy. You know what I'm saying?
They got to know you're busy, man. It's a busy guy, man.
For reals.
But yeah, when you look at this team and you were saying the identity, go ahead.
I don't know if they have an identity right now. And, sometimes when you're winning games despite not having an identity, that's the best thing in the world to do because you can develop one as you're going. Listen, if I ask you what the New York Giants, sorry, I'm sorry. If I ask you what the New York Giants like,
Bro, why do they keep putting him on primetime? I don't want to see that shit. You know what my favorite thing is? When the Bucks and the Giants play at the same time, so I don't have to watch the Giants. It's the best.
I was just talking to the great Tom Ponzo, and I
God
said
bless
to him,
you, Tom.
I talked to him, and I go, what are they trying to accomplish by putting Russell Wilson in there? Like,
Did you see what they did yesterday on fourth? And do you see what they did? They had 1st and goal from the 10.
Oh, yeah.
He threw the ball out of the end zone, and then the fourth, he threw. It was almost like he was playing a game on 4th down. Let me see if my pass can hit the upright, and he won that game.
Yes,
but
he did.
Numbnuts. He didn't even throw the ball anywhere near. Just start Jackson Dart by. They're such a dumpster fire.
Why not?
All right, so after watching that game last night and watching the Bucks Jets game yesterday, they're both 0-3. But I feel a lot more optimistic about the Jets than I do the Giants
100%.
because at least they showed some fucking fight.
Correct.
The Giants, outside of one game against Dallas, and we know Dallas is just like games like that are just like the Giants in Dallas when they play. It's like when you meet up with your ex for a weekend. Yeah. Like you got a beach house in the weekend.
Also, that Dallas defense ain't good, dog.
They stink.
Yeah, they stink.
They got smacked by Chicago, and I don't trust Chicago. There's a what? Are you agree with me? There's a lot of bad football. There's just a lot of bad football. And it sucks because it's such a great sport. The NFL is king. And then just every single week, like, you're like, oh, okay, like, this team could be, like, Miami's a great example, right? Through 2 weeks, you're like, Mike McDaniel's done. And then you see him on Thursday night, you're like, they battled, man. They battled. They lost that game to Buffalo. And then what's going to happen in week 4? They're going to shit the bed again. They're going to lose by 20. And then it's going to be like, and that's what the NFL is. It's like, you and I spoke about this last week of, it's just one game. Like we always try to like take 1 week and try to get it to the next week. Like every single game is its own story. And with the Giants, like, oh, wow, Russell leads the league in passing. I don't give a crap what he did against Dallas. He looks like a guy that's never played quarterback before. How could you do that? You won a Super Bowl. Like it's like Eli Manning 2.0. I don't understand. Like just put Jackson Dart in. Put him in.
Why? I mean, why not? I mean, a Giants fan, say the Giants keep Russell Wilson in, and they go something crazy like 6 and we'll go. They say they go 7-10. Okay, I know it's not gonna happen, but say they go 7-10. You're gonna sign them again next year? So,
no.
So what are you doing? You might as well put Jackson Dart in there. Go ahead and win your 2 games. And then get yourself ready for next year. That's the only thing Daboll has to fall back on. Because right now you just look like you suck. They don't look well coached. They don't look well anything. They don't look well anything.
I've said this about every coach in history. If you are a guy that prides himself on a certain thing and your team sucks at that thing, you're not long for that job. When Lovie Smith was a coach with the Buccaneers, he was a defensive-minded guy, and we couldn't stop a nosebleed. It was only a matter of time before Dirk Cutter came in. We said the same thing with Todd Bowles. He figured it out. Brian Daboll is like, wow, he did all this great stuff with Josh Allen. Watch out, man. What he's going to do. He's going to do wonders for Daniel Jones. And then your offense looks like that against the Chiefs, who have a good defense, but, like, they're not the 85 Bears either. Like, geez, man, the best thing.
Don't you mean Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones,
Don't you mean Indiana? Say it, Jay.
No,
Jay,
no.
Say Indiana Jones.
3-0 Colts.
And hey, Jay, he balling.
You know what's going to happen is that Malik Neighbors is going to win a Super Bowl with the Commanders. Daniel Jones is going to win a Super Bowl with the Colts. Saquon's already won one with the Eagles. Xavier McKinney is going to win one with the Green Bay Packers. It's just the way it goes. It's one of the toughest like fan modes ever. It's
nope. Stop. Like,
right now.
Okay, I say this to Ponzo all the time.
Right now.
Arizona don't want to hear Giant fans bitching.
Who?
Cleveland don't want to hear Giants fans bitching. Y'all win a Super Bowl every decade. Nobody wants to hear
14 years. 14 years, buddy.
I don't care. You guys win Super Bowls and you
say it again, baby.
You don't deserve it.
And the only response I'll give to you is that the Giants keep getting primetime games. That's what makes it so much worse.
It's New York.
I know, but it's like Arizona. They're not like Arizona, Monday Night Football, Cleveland.
Okay, nobody lives in Arizona. Everybody lives in New York.
I get that, but it makes it that much worse. It's like, here's the spotlight. Here's the spotlight on the Giants. Oh, they suck here. Go watch it with 50 million of your closest friends. Not
How
good,
often
bud.
do you not watch the Cowboys are on every week. So, I mean, they've stunk since I was in the league. So, you imagine being a Cowboy fan. God forbid.
Oh,
Ass.
speaking of things that we want to, we won't talk about this Wednesday. We'll talk about it right now. Did you see what my guy Ryan Clark said about Ashton Genty?
I did not.
After 2 games, he said he's Trent Richardson.
Ooh,
That's rough.
that's not fair.
That's rough.
That's
2
not fair.
games?
That's not fair. He doesn't look good, and I'm gonna take him out of my lineup, but it's not fair.
Your offensive
not
line's
fair.
terrible.
Yeah, they are. Now, I'm going to say this about running backs, though. Usually, running backs show their greatness without people, but 2 games is not enough. No
Right.
way. No way.
What do you? I want to ask you real quick about Rob Higgins getting the appointment as CEO of athletics for USF. I mean, we've known Rob for a very long time as the executive director of the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. Just feels like that's like the right move, right? Like I feel like if there was a guy that is going to take USF to possibly bigger and better things, like a guy like Rob Higgins who's traveled around the world and brought Super Bowls and WrestleMania here, it just seems like he's the right guy, doesn't it?
Well, I've never had a problem with Rob Higgins. He's always been cool.
Hell yeah.
And as far as USF goes, I've been here since USF popped up in the football, and I feel like a resurgence. And like when they were big way back to the West Virginia days when they played West Virginia, it was a different feeling. I'm not sure we can get back there. I'm not sure. But as of late, I just feel a momentum, and I don't know what it is. It just seems more people talking about USF, more people caring. The whole stadium thing is a big deal. Them having some success here as of late is a big deal as well. But I just think a couple of the right moves, USF could take it to another level, because it's almost a shame that Tampa Bay doesn't have
Right.
a bigger college representation. It really is a shame, because everybody comes here to live, but nobody's coming here to watch college football, I guess.
Is Miami the real deal? Hurricanes?
It's still early, but they look it still early.
You know what I love about Miami, and they proved it again with the Florida Gators, and I saw Bomani Jones talk about this the other day. For all the years that Miami was like, they have all these skilled players, dude, they're built in the trenches. They are built the Ian Beckles way, and they have some huge guys. And when you have Mario Cristobal, like if you can remember, he coached under Nick Saban. So like he's got that aspect of it, but he's also got the aspect of like, oh, it's not just about having better players. It's about making sure you build in the trenches with your offensive and defensive line. And Miami's a problem, man. We always talk about matchups. I don't think that's a matchup that a lot of people want to see, especially in the ACC. They're going to coast to a conference playoff spot. I don't know I don't know who's going to beat them. Like you have to be able to be a grown-ass team to be able to beat them. And if you're not a Ohio State, we talked about this last year with Notre Dame and Indiana about how Notre Dame was just a bad matchup for Indiana at that time because they were built the same, but Indiana was built a little bigger and a little bit more talent on the lines. It's going to be tough, man. Cristobal, like the guy says in the chat, Cristobal has some dudes on that team for sure.
Yeah, but listen, I like to hold things for the beginning of the year, okay? Because I think Jimmy Johnson said it best. It was a couple of years ago. They start off 6-0, and somebody goes, Miami, the U is back. And Jimmy Johnson says, the U will be back when they hoist the national championship.
Right.
Okay, so I grew up a U fan because of Alonzo Highsmith. I grew up with Alonzo Highsmith. So I knew what they were about back in the day, and you've seen the 30 for 30, and there were some bad son of bitches that nobody wanted to play. They're not that. Right. They gotta win a little bit more for me to say that they're completely back. They look different. But then again, we thought Illinois was great. You saw what Indiana did to them. People were thinking that Florida was great.
Yeah, so much for that. Before I let you go, I want to ask you kind of random because he got celebrated over the weekend and you had a unique perspective working at DAE for all those years. Stu Sternberg going to sell the team for the Rays now. New owners taking over next year. When you think of Stu Sternberg and his time with the Rays, like what are some of the things that first come to your mind? Because you not as much anymore, but you used to watch a lot of Rays baseball, and you've been to Tropicana Field and you interviewed the guy. So, like, what are your thoughts on his time here with the Rays?
Well, the only person I have to compare him to is Vince DeMoli, and if that's the case, then he was a pretty damn good owner. Now, I'm going to say this, okay? If you at the end of it. And this is what I want a lot of Rays fans to consider, okay? But I think a lot of them aren't really thinking about this. 50 years from now, when we talk about Stu Sternberg, we may talk about him like he was a genius and he was a hero, because the next people may come and take your team and move it. You heard me? So the next people may come and take your team and move it to Orlando. So then how would Stu Sternberg look then?
Right.
You would say, damn, at least he kept our team here. At least he fought for our team. At least he made moves to try to keep the team here. But because we don't know the next people what they're going to do. But Stu Sternberg always said he wanted to keep the team here. As far as running a team goes, he wouldn't be my top pick, okay?
Right.
Because I would rather somebody with deep pockets that don't give a rat's ass about money own my team, because that's a possibility. And that's not the way it's been. And the unfortunate part, baseball and football are completely different. You can't be cheap in football. You can be cheap in baseball. And if you say who's been the cheapest, it's been Stu Sternberg. Also, one of the most successful too. So it don't really matter what I think. I mean, it's not at the end of it later on, we'll find out what kind of owner he was.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What's going on at the Dignitary Cafe, my brother?
Same old dog, just hanging out. The great Warren Sapp came through yesterday before all
Really?
the activities, and we
Wow.
hung out and do what we do in the morning, and then he went and did his thing. But like, you just never know who's gonna roll through here. You know what I mean? Jay Recher. The other day, somebody goes, "Jay Recher is at your place watching football?" I go, "Yeah, the great Jay Recher, yeah."
Who said that? You lying.
No, I'm not.
You lying.
Who said that to me? It's
Bert?
somebody who
Was it Bert?
No, it wasn't Bert. It was somebody who listens to your podcast. He goes, "Oh, I got to come to your place." Jay Recher was there. I'm like, yeah, the great Jay Recher.
Free promotion. Hey, we got to get Pat Donovan and Bert in the same room.
You don't know they're not the same person.
We told Pat the other day, I was like, yo, even if you just come by for an hour, because we're trying to explain. He said, Ian explained him to me. I goes, yeah, he likes white. He's like, that's what Ian said. I'm like, oh man, Bert is a
That's
trip.
you and Bert. That ain't me and Bert. I don't mess with no white with Bert. We're good.
No, I'm saying that's all he wears. He wears
me and Bert good.
white shirt. Yeah, me and Bert good. Ian_Beckles, check him out. The obviously In the Trenches podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Oh, we'll talk about that later on this week as far as the all that stuff with the podcast as well. Beckles and Recher on Wednesday as well. Make sure you check us out at the Dignitary Cafe at 3 p.m. We are always holding it down. Again, Ian_Beckles on Instagram. All right, my brother. I appreciate you, man. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you on Wednesday. Oh, wait.
What?
I got something special. I told you I got that venison.
Oh, you got it?
So Sunday I got a tournament, so I won't be able to be there. So I'm going to come over Sunday after I get home from my baseball tournament in Plant City,
right.
And I'm going to give you the meats on Wednesday. But I got venison steaks and venison sausage.
Ooh, I'll do something special.
I know. So I definitely wanted to make everybody feel guilty. That's why I mentioned it on the show. All right, my brother. I'll see you on Wednesday.
All right, dog. Peace.
All right, one love. The one and only Ian Beckles, my man. Yeah, we're gonna eat good next Sunday, baby. No doubt about it. Richie P, something is not hitting me right with this new ownership. I was all game until they said they want to move over by ATC. That is not sitting right with me. Something is starting to stink. Just saying, Richie, my guy. Listen, keep talking about it, man. Keep talking about it. Let's see. I didn't ask him about Chamberlain. Dang it. Nice hard hat. You see it, buddy? I love this thing. Hammer, this is one of the coolest things, and this is why I love Russ and the crew at Honest Hammer. Like, this is so cool. It really is. Ian makes fun of me. He's like, stop wearing that hard hat. You look like an idiot. It's not that it's not a cool hard hat, because it's amazing, but it's just like him knowing me. Like, I'm never going to. He's like, you're never going to use that. You're never going to. You're a baseball guy. You're a hockey guy. You're not wearing a hard hat. I'm like, you never know, Ian. You never know. I love this thing, though. It's Hammer. I love you, dude. I am like, now I'm going to like go to job sites now. I'm going to on purpose go see Hammer at job sites, and I'm just going to wear it and walk around, even if I don't need to. I'm just going to do it. Just going to do it. All right, Robert Cochran, I'm not going to let you besmirch my buddy here. Since we've been good, but when we were bad, he was openly against them fair weather ass Rat Donovan. Robert, we can't talk about my guy Pat like that. There's nobody else that I would rather watch a Bucks game with at Raymond James Stadium than Pat Donovan. Him and I have so much fun. Now, you have to understand, okay, when it comes to USF, right? You have to understand that there's different ways to do radio, right? Like the radio that he does, right? The radio that like they want over there, and for the majority of the people, they're always going to say, all right, what are the majority of the listeners listen to, right? And we're always going to hit topic A. We're always going to play the hits. That's their thing. And for a while, when USF wasn't good, like it's not up to the radio station to be champions and to be cheerleaders for the teams and the organizations, right? So I get that. But for me, I do feel like that. I do want to show love to the teams here locally because as much as we know what topic A is and what the hits are, like I feel like you can grow things as well. I feel like you can get more people involved in the Rowdies and the Sun and USF and things like that. And I feel like there's a way to cultivate the farm system in a certain way to grow your listenership. That's not always, kind of a mode of operation for a lot of people. And, for a long time, like USF wasn't really a big hit. It has been the last couple of years, but it's just different. It's just different for everybody. He doesn't dislike USF, not at all, but Pat is more of an NFL guy than a college guy. So I know he doesn't hate USF. It's just he lives over there. And he even said yesterday that he's excited to go to some of the games. Michelle Wetherington. I love that name. Michelle Wetherington. Why wasn't Ian on the field? Just say because he wasn't one of the top 50 Bucks of all time. And Ian does not like to leave his house. You got to go see him. Dude, just walk on a job site with the hard hat and clipboard. Say you're an inspector. You may get a crisp $100 just to leave. Bro, Richie, me and you need to do that together, bro. We'll go there. We'll do that. And then get $100 each and leave. That'd be so freaking funny. Oh, my God. All right. Great call there. All right. Let's take a look at a couple of things real quick before we move on because I got something to say to Mr. Drew Brees. Okay, so we are going to go here. And we are going to go. Hold on, folks. We do this pretty much at this time every single day, showing love to our friends over there at Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC. My guy, Russ, and the crew over there, 813-244-0956. He's a Tampa Bay sports fan just like you. He goes to these games. He's sweating in the heat there at Raymond James Stadium. And this is the kind of guy you want to do business with, a licensed and insured Florida general contractor, CGC 153-1166. No project too big, no project too small. A lot of people talking about kitchen and bathroom remodels. Now's the time to be able to do it before the winter. Boom. Give them a shot, man. 813-244-0956. You got a new custom home idea, right? You got a plot of land. You want to build on it. These are the guys to be able to help you out. New and commercial construction as well. You see some of the pictures. I was at this job site a couple of Thursdays ago, and it's just these are the type of people that you want to do work with. These are the kind of guys you can trust. There's so many horror stories when it comes to these companies, and you're worried about these contractors and if they're shady. This is my guy, man. This is a great human being down to his core. Russ and the entire family over there at Honest Hammer. 813-244-0956. Go to the website, thehonesthammer.com. You can email them, thehonesthammer@gmail.com. And again, when you call them and you reach out to them, let them know you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast, and they will take care of you. Just great people all the way around. And then as well, our folks over at Evra Health, our new sponsor here on the program. Evra Health joining us here in the Pinellas side. And just look, if you're looking for healthcare, especially in St. Pete, I'm having a big call with them tomorrow, and I'll be over there on campus next week. I just want to implore you guys before I get into the entire thing, right? These guys do not discriminate based on anything that's going on. They're caring for the health and well-being of your family. And from what I've heard, there's so many different things on that campus there. They can help you out. You don't feel like you can get health care that's going to be able to help you and your family. Give them a shout. Schedule an appointment today. Again, go to evrahealth.org, EVARAHEALTH.org. Schedule an appointment check them out. Give them a call, 727-824-8181. Schedule those appointments today. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. Working with the people, they're just so amazing. Big USF fans as well, big USF donors. Like, these are the type of people that you want to support in the Tampa Bay area. I can't say enough good things. There's so many different things. Telemedicine, family medicine for adults, pediatrics for the kids. They're just, go check out the website. I'll be here all day talking about this freaking website. They take care of you. Evra Health, EVARA, everhealth.org. And again, tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. We really appreciate them and Honest Hammer for being our sponsors here, our partners here on the program. The Jay Recher podcast is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you just joined, I told you guys yesterday, or I said it earlier today, that I had the most super chats I've had since I started the super chats a couple of months ago. And I'm just so grateful for that. But we got to keep it going, man. We got to keep it going. That's the only way. I want to keep doing this, man. I want to keep doing this. Keep this rolling. Y'all scamming for $100. Come on now. We need y'all to step up the scamming to at least 4 figures, man. Yes. Hi, I'm Jay Recher. This is the way it goes. Hard hat is only part of the PPE. I'm with Ian. You'll stick out like sore thumb. You're right, pal. Thank you, Stash. Thank you. Jordan Love, not elite. We'll get into that in a second. Jay looks like a building inspector when he has the hard hat on. Where's the clipboard and the stop work tags? You're right, buddy. You are so right. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them there at the bottom of the screen. I need everybody killing that like button right now. Kill that like button right now. And let me know. Also, comments, questions, comments, concerns, leave them on there. Sorry, guys. I'm going to hold on. I just want to give you guys some of the, come on now, the updates from Todd Bowles. All right. Hold on, guys. All right. Shout out to our friends at Pewter Report. They're always hooking us up. Tabo spoke a little while ago when we were talking to Ian. I want to give you guys the update on Mike Evans and everything. Right now, while you're waiting, like and subscribe on YouTube. Kill that like button if you can, guys. Share this on your social media platforms. If you guys see me ever doing, and a lot of you already have, and I thank you very, very much for that. But anytime you see me post any kind of video on all social media platforms, share that thing, man. That's the only way we're going to grow. Bunch of people watching on this Victory Monday. I appreciate you. An update from Todd Bowles over there at the Avon Health Training Center at One Buccaneer Place. Todd Bowles says that Mike Evans is going to get an MRI on his hamstring tomorrow. Right now, they are deeming it as low grade, but they'll see it when it comes out. Now, one thing, and just kind of like the nature of hamstring injuries and being around as long as I have covering these teams, if it was a really, really bad hamstring injury, you're not walking like all across the field and walking off. Like, he knew what it was, but I don't think it's one of those huge type of hamstring injuries where it's like, he snapped it or he tore it or something like that. It seems like it's a little bit of a hitch in his giddy up, and it's going to take a couple of weeks. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's going to be super, super long-term. And when they say low grade, but they'll see when it comes out, I mean, they have a pretty good idea. There would be more cause for concern. There really would be. There'd be a lot of like, I don't know, we have to wait and see. But to say that it's low grade, low grade, Tom says that, Todd doesn't usually say something like that if it's not. Todd also said they're going to have to see the progression with Tristan Wirfs and Chris Godwin, and they'll make a decision about their status of playing at the end of the week. We'll start keeping an eye over the next couple of days, how much they practice with the team. Are they going to be out there? You are going to need all hands on deck with the Philadelphia Eagles coming into town. In my mind, the two best teams in the NFC, the Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you know it's going to be a battle that's won and lost in the trenches. You need it all right there. And to get Tristan back, listen, if Tristan is healthy, you'll want him back. If he's not healthy, don't want him back. Take your freaking time, dude. That is the most important thing. Be healthy for the rest of the season. Also, Todd Bowles said there's no updates on Christian Izien other than he's sore. Hopefully he's not out for very long. Todd Bowles says he thinks offensive guard Dan Feeney has a chance to catch up to speed this week with the offense because he's been on Buffalo's practice squad, so it's just the mental of knowing this offense. That's good. Bowles says he feels they have more athletic playmakers on defense that they have had before, so they're not just relying on Levante and Antoine Winfield Jr. Michael Jordan, offensive guard, sore knee that he sprained. When he's better, they'll get him practicing. They won the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's a lot of the big things when it comes to what Todd Bowles had to say on the program. So passing along that big time information to you. Let's take a look around the rest of the NFL. I'm going to tell you right now, after watching the games yesterday, okay? A lot of people are going to ask, I don't know if a lot of people are going to ask, but they probably don't even care. Oh, shit. Okay, so first off, for all my New Yorkers out there, it's rough right now. Jets 0-3, the Giants 0-3. And I know that there are members of each fan base that are absolutely pissed. But I'm going to tell you, after watching all 6 of those games, and especially after yesterday, watching the Jets play in person, and after watching the Giants debacle on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs, I would much rather be in the position of the New York Jets than the Giants. And I know Jets fans don't want to hear it. I know Jets media don't want to hear it. But yesterday was a moral victory. Yesterday was a silver lining. And Aaron Glenn may not want to talk about that. I know our guy Alex Golish here locally doesn't want to talk about that type of thing. But you have to be real with where you are at as a franchise and an organization. You had a new head coach for a reason. You had to change things because your team was not good enough. And you have an opportunity yesterday to win that game at the end of the game. Yeah, you lost, but you have to learn how to win. The fact that this team in that heat against the team that's a 4-time division champion, that you were battling and you didn't give up like it looked like you did in week 2 against the Bills. If I'm a Jets fan, I feel a lot better than I do if I'm a Giants fan. I love the passion from Aaron Glenn. I love the ability that Tyrod Taylor and Alan Lazard, like those guys did not give in. Will McDonald making that play, like put things in perspective. You weren't making the freaking playoffs this year anyway. The fact that you came out of the gates and you were sluggish and you were in there at the end, listen, it's baby steps, man. You have to build on that. But to act like yesterday wasn't a positive step forward for the Jets, I think it's short-sighted. I really do. The Giants, on the other hand, for the love of God, you are one of the worst teams in all of professional sports. If you're a guy in Brian Daboll and you were lauded for your help and your assistance with helping Josh Allen become one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and now from Daniel Jones to Russell Wilson, you can't find any consistency with your offense, like, dude, your days are numbered in New York. They're numbered. Why is Russell Wilson playing? Get Jackson Dart in there. Who cares? This season is done. You are screwed. And it's not just the offense. It's an undisciplined team. Your guys don't look ready to play. You're not getting Malik Neighbors involved until the 4th quarter. He's one of the best receivers in the game. There's just so many bad things with the Giants. I think Joe Shane has done a terrible job as general manager. I think Brian Daboll's done an even worse job as a head coach. You look at the camera yesterday with John Mara just watching this team. This is supposed to be one of the most venerable organizations in all of sports. You are a laughingstock. You're terrible at home, and you can't figure it out. The sooner they make changes, the better. Because the Jets have already made their change. They're looking for, all right, how can we get rid of some of the guys that aren't on board? Get rid of some of the guys that aren't as talented. Get rid of some of the guys that aren't as tough. The Giants need a complete overhaul when it comes to how they operate, because there's talent on that roster, man. You look at a piece of paper and look at how good that team could be with the right coaching and with the right organization. They're a laughingstock. They should be embarrassed. They should be ashamed of themselves. That is not a team that should be 0-3. But that's where they are. So if you're a New York fan, I think the Jets have a slight edge over the Giants. No doubt about it. Gangrene, but still, you're both 0-3. Sucks for you. All right, other games in the NFL. Philadelphia. I mean, my God. Tip your hat, bro. Tip your hat. They fought to the bitter end. Same thing with the Bucks. Like, you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just go out there and win the game. Green Bay learned a message. You learned a lesson losing to Cleveland, talking all that smack. I forgot who it was, but undefeated. Like, that's why people can't take Green Bay seriously. Remember what I told you guys last week about the Bucks going into Houston and winning that game? Those are the games you have to win if people want to take you serious. That was one of those games for Green Bay. It wasn't a divisional matchup. It was just a game that you were supposed to win, and you go into Cleveland and you lose. That is what's holding them back. That is why people don't buy into what they're all about. And I told you, be careful about the Micah Parsons deal because, again, not great. Not great. Indianapolis continues to prove everybody wrong. 41-20 win over Tennessee. Minnesota with an absolute shellacking. Again, the second best, because I can't give him over Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo, but Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores continue to be the second best duo in all of football. I can't say enough nice things about them. Atlanta. Again, 30 zip. 30-0. Zach Robinson. I saw something yesterday. Zach Robinson is the stump of the Sean McVay coaching tree. They're just a dumpster fire. Kirk Cousins saw Ashton yesterday. You got blanked by Carolina. I'm not worried about them. I'm not scared of you guys at all. New Orleans gets blown out 44-13. More on them in a second. Big win for the Chargers, 23-20 over the Broncos in a divisional matchup. Liam Cohen's all jacked up after a 7-point win. 0-3 of the Houston Texans. Dallas, embarrassing performance against Chicago. CeeDee Lamb's hurt. George Pickens is dropping passes. It is what it is. And then the Niners continue to show. And listen, I'm wrong. I put my hand up. I thought they were done. They're 3-0. They're 3-0, but they still have found a way. There's enough guys on that team with Fred Warner and Christian McCaffrey and Shanahan. Those guys, Mac Jones filling in for injured Brock Purdy. They find a way. That is what good teams do. That's what good teams do. All right. So, drugs are for adults. $20 super chat. Thank you. Go Bucks. Looks like the people that call the Buka luxury pick are eat and grow. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily eat and crow. Like, it's just at the time, I think it was, but there's nothing wrong with it. What's not wrong with it? It is what it is. I don't think it. Again, people were surprised by the pick, not because they didn't like him. It's just because defensively, you knew that they had a lot of gaps to fill. And when there was Jihad Campbell and some of these other guys, like, I think that's why it was a little surprising. I don't think anybody was technically like mad about the pick, but yeah, I mean, it looks great now. No doubt about it. All right. I've been waiting to do this for 24 hours. All right, guys and gals. We're going to talk some college football here in a bit. However, first, I want to talk to Hall of Fame quarterback Drew Brees. You guys ready for this? I hope you are. Drew Brees. You posed this question yesterday on Fox before all the games. Who in that division really scares you at this point? And this is the second time that you've been on either national TV or on a podcast and continue to throw shade at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who in that division really scares you at this point? Nobody, you answered. You also said that the only difference between the Saints and the Bucs is that the Bucs have found a way to make a play at the end of the game and win. Well, they did it again yesterday. And it's kind of ironic that you're slighting a team for doing that, being that you yourself had 36 come from behind wins in the fourth quarter, 6th of all time. You know, I thought something like that would be a badge of honor to somebody like yourself, but I guess not. I wonder who's number one. on that list? Oh, yeah, that's right. TB12. I mean, it sounds like sour grapes to me. I mean, throwing shade at the team that beat you in your final game where you only threw for 134 yards in a home playoff loss. I mean, who in the division really scares you? I mean, you may not say it's the Bucks, but you're sure as hell ain't going to say it's the 0-3 Saints, buddy. You are either getting better or getting worse, but you are never staying the same. Your words from your book. Well, Drew, which team in the NFC South has been 30-41 since you retired at the end of the 2020 season? In comparison, the Bucks have been 22-15 since Tom Brady retired, and they look poised to win the division for the 5th straight year. I get you're a New Orleans guy through and through, but it's beneath you, a surefire Hall of Famer and seemingly a good guy, to downplay everything that is going on in Tampa Bay. Good teams find a way to win. Whatever it takes, it doesn't matter how ugly it is. You said this, there are a very few consistent common threads among the most successful NFL quarterbacks. Most of them are intangibles, which you can't measure with a physical test. You need leadership ability, competitiveness, drive, and will. You need focus, poise, and charisma. Sounds a lot like Baker Mayfield, doesn't it? You know, Drew, I respect all you did in the NFL. And, you know, listen, I can't take anything away from you. But I think it's time for you to take off the black and gold colored glasses and put on some real specs so you can really see who owns this division. You may not like it, but you better get used to it because it's going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers once again. So there you have it. Sorry, bud. Time to really just wake up when it comes to the whole situation in the South. You got to do what you got to do. Fine. That's the way you want to talk. But yeah, that team's a dumpster fire. That whole thing's a dumpster fire over there. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, not sorry. Speaking of sorry, not sorry, the USF with the smackdown, absolute smackdown of South Carolina State. That's exactly what they needed to do. It's exactly what they needed to do. Nothing crazy, right? Like, it was a little bit of a slow start. You definitely want to see something better there. But they did what they had to do. You move on. 4 touchdowns for a guy like Byron Brown. Chaz Nimrod seems to be the guy over the top that can really help them. And Mac Harris, man, unbelievable performance with the 93-yard interception return for a touchdown. He just continues to lead the way for that defense. And, yeah, they get a nice bye week before they return 2 Fridays. Not this Friday, but the following Friday. And conference play opens up. Now's the real test for the Bulls. Now is the real test. What are you all about? Because it's been a nice start to the season, but it's not about that. Not about that. Let's win a conference championship. That should be your goal, and it is well within reach. And also with USF, some big news. Rob Higgins introduced today as the CEO of athletics over there at South Florida. Rob will join us tomorrow at 12:30 right here on the Jay Recher podcast. Cannot wait to chat with him. He is the new CEO of athletics, man. God, I'm so happy about that. He's the right guy. There was a lot of talk today at that introductory press conference about revenue and fundraising, and he's that guy. He is that guy. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more when I tell you my thoughts on Stu Sternberg and that whole thing with the Rays. But no more victim mentality. And I'm not saying Michael Kelly did this, but USF needs to get to that point where that they are looked at as one of the premier institutions, not just in the classroom, but all on the field as well in all of collegiate athletics. It's there, man. We're in a big time market here in the Tampa, in the entire country. Let's continue to roll. Let's continue to keep growing, getting bigger and better. I don't want to be like the Little Sisters of the Poor. This is a fantastic place to live. And Dolan, that's funny. Ask him how he feels about Drew Brees. You're probably not going to care. But USF is growing. We need to get behind him, stay behind him, and then good things hopefully will happen. But it's exactly what they needed to do in that win over South Carolina State, 63-14. Also, Miami with a win, 26-7 over the Florida Gators. This was one of those like knockdown, drag out. Like I don't hate the way that Florida played. I really think they really gave it everything that they have, but it just Billy just looks overmatched. There's nothing when I watch the Gators, I just feel like there's nothing innovative. There's nothing exciting. It's college football, man. You see crazy shit happen every weekend, and it's very blah, and very meh, and it's just Florida. It's Florida, man. It's Florida. Urban Meyer, 2 quarterbacks, crazy shit happening with Percy Harvin and throwback passes. Like, man, it just sucks seeing them like that. I don't want to see that. And I mentioned this with Ian before when it comes to Miami. Miami's one of the best teams I've seen all year long. And it's the right way. They're playing the games the right way. They're battling in the trenches. And Carson Beck is doing what he's got to do. He's a veteran quarterback. It's the same thing that happened last year with Cam Ward. As a veteran guy coming in, taking care of business, taking care of the football. I think Carson Beck's going to be able to do that better than Cam Ward did last year, but we'll see. I really love what Cam brought to the team, that bravado, that swagger, that maturity. I think Carson Beck does that same thing this year. Watch out for Miami. It's going to be tough to knock them off just because they do it the right way. They've built in the trenches. I mentioned before with Ian, Indiana with the whitewashing, number 19 at home against number 9 Illinois, 63-10. I think they should be a top 10 team after that loss, or after that win, but they're not. Auburn and Oklahoma, listen, that was that game I was telling you guys about. If Auburn wants to say, hey, don't forget about us in the SEC, they battled, but they lose 24-17 to John Mateer, who threw for 271 in the Sooners. I like Brent Venables, so good things happening to this guy. Not a bad thing whatsoever. Texas Tech goes on the road to beat Utah 34-10. Michigan, 3-point victory over Nebraska. I told you that it was going to be a tough game. It was going to be a nip-tuck battle, that Matt Rule was going to have those guys ready. Rayola throws for 308. I don't want to hear any more about – I don't want the comparisons to to Patrick Mahomes. Come on, bro. You could have fooled us. It just looks like his carbon copy, just a little more swole. Oh, I'm good on that, man. It's a weird thing. And lastly, and shout out to USF assistant Sean Clark, who passed away on Sunday at 50. We heard this last week or 2 weeks ago, hospitalized after experiencing a medical emergency. And, we have the rivalry with USF and UCF, but man, this is not even close to have anything to do with that, right? 50 years young. Passed away Sunday unexpectedly with his wife by his side. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the UCF assistant, Sean Clark. He was also the head coach at App State for 5 years. Man, it's humbling, man. Very, very humbling. 2 kids as well. So Coach Clark and UCF and Coach Frost and everybody sending across our thoughts and prayers and our condolences, man. 50 years young, man. Gone too soon. And then finally, I want to talk about Syracuse. Fined $25,000 and publicly reprimanded for faking injuries in that 34-21 win over Clemson. I thought last year Clemson was done. They had there was going to be a lot of issues there. Dude, like, what are we doing? Like, we'll get back to Clemson in a second, but Fran Brown, my guy, like, you've been running your mouth a lot. Like, it's just everything with Fran. It's just one thing leads to another, and it's just like all these different things and about the transfer portal and just blah, 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 blah. He's just always, dude, 43 years young and full of gusto. And, telling people, to other coaches trying to poach his players, I ain't no bitch. Shit. That's so funny. Bro, you are telling people you ain't no bitch, yet your players are faking injuries. Like, what are we talking about? Sports are funny. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this up. Can't. I ain't no bitch. Oh my God. I ain't no bitch. But my team's going to fake injuries on the field. We're going to get suspended for $25,000. Penalized for $25,000. Coaches just can't seem to get out of their own way sometimes. You always feel like you have to talk. You always feel like you have to say something. And then when you do, and then that happens, and you're like, oh my God, man, what are you doing? You're at Syracuse, buddy. Good win. But you're faking injuries. And then you're talking about, I ain't no bitch. It is what it is, buddy. Have fun with that. Have fun with all of that. Good win by Memphis. 1-point win over Arkansas as well. And Clemson, it's only a matter of time. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. By 2030, Dabo Swinney will be out of Clemson and will be coaching Alabama. It's just a matter of time. Don't be surprised when this happens. Don't be surprised. I'm not a hot take guy. I'm not a guy that's just going to say things to say things. I say it because I just feel like the writing's on the wall. Kalen DeBoer is not an Alabama guy. Dabo is an Alabama guy. What else is there to really accomplish at Clemson? Nothing. You put them on the map. Now, Dabo's going out there and saying like, oh, well, he's making all these post-game comments about people getting on him for losing. He's like, we could suck this year. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. That's not a great thing to tell your fan base. And he's talking like these coaches feel like they are owed some type of like benefit of the doubt because of what they've done in the past. This is what have you done late for me life that we live, and athletics are at the forefront of that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you've done. What have you done this year? You're a guy that you are looking at the college landscape, and while everybody else is talking about transfer portal and NIL and what they can do to get better and find ways to adapt, you're just kind of standing 10 toes down in your own little box. That's it. I don't want to deal with the transfer portal, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's where it matters that you're at Clemson. It matters. If you go to Alabama, will it still matter? Maybe, maybe not. But there's only a few. No matter how big you've gotten Clemson, it'll never be Alabama. Ever. There's only certain places where I think that you don't even have to, you don't have to dip into the transfer portal as much. You might still do it. I think it'd be stupid if you didn't. Teams like Ohio State are doing it. Miami's doing it. Those are the two top teams in the country. Why do you think you're so good that you don't have to do it? This is the changing landscape of college football. I never understand why coaches do that. And you could be an accomplished coach like Dabo Swinney. I've mentioned Ruben Amorim for Manchester United. You just get so stubborn and stuck in your ways. Like that is never going to work. Adapt, change, get better, roll with the punches. Like those aren't things that just are beliefs by a couple of people. Like everybody feels that way. If not, you get left behind. And Clemson's going to be left behind. And you look at Miami, they're coming. They're here. I wouldn't say they're back, but they're here. I don't think a team's officially back until you're contending for national championships year in and year out. So right now, Ohio State there. Georgia there. Right? You look Michigan there. I mean, even though Michigan's obviously not the same with Harbaugh being gone, and but you look at their programs, like all eyes are on their programs now. Clemson, you're going in the wrong direction. You're getting farther and farther away from those Deshaun Watson years, my friend. And if you don't change, like you're going to be in problems. There's going to be issues, no doubt about it. All right, questions, comments, concerns, guys. We'll take them right now before we finish up and talk about some other things as well. Still disrespectful treatment from the AP nerds. You got that right, buddy. Are the Bulls ranked now? No, not yet. Hopefully they will if they win a couple of games in conference. Play defense did their part. Napier absolutely sucks as a play caller, waiting for that hammer to drop. I think Florida exposed Miami a little bit. I don't know about that, DT. That's going to be a heck of a matchup, Miami and Florida State. It really is. Right now, I would say Miami is going to win that game. But you need here's the thing, and we'll talk about this more before they play, right? When you are a team, when you're going up and you have that bravado like a Tommy Castellanos does, I think that's the type of attitude that you need if you're going to go up and you're going to beat a team like Miami. Of course, you have to win the battles in the trenches. I'm not making light of that. But you need to have that belief then when nobody else is believing in you. And he did that when he was able to beat Alabama. And I think you need that same type of thing against Miami because it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out war between those two clubs. Florida State cannot look ahead, though. They cannot look ahead because they play Friday night. This is one of those games. This is one of those games where it's like, all right, dude, in 2 weeks, 7:30 at night, you're playing Miami. This Friday night, you go to Virginia to take on the Cavaliers. 3-1 team. You can't look past them because you're going to take all the wind out of the sails if you lose this game right before that Miami matchup. Well, Florida State beats Virginia. They go and they get a chance to play Miami. They win that game. You're talking about them possibly being the number 1 team in the country. We'll see what type of team the Noles are Friday night against the Cavaliers. This is a job. This is, to me, all on Coach Mike Norvell. How are you going to have your team prepared? There's some huge games this week. High noon game in Illinois and Champaign after the destruction at the hands of Indiana. They host number 21 USC, 4-0. 2-0 in the Big 10. 2-0 in the Big 10. How does USC handle the time difference playing at noon Eastern against Illinois? Notre Dame against Arkansas. Notre Dame still ranked 1-2. Ohio State travels to the Pacific Northwest to take on 3-0 Washington. A juicy matchup in the SEC in Oxford as Ole Miss host number 13 Ole Miss, host number 4 LSU and the Bayou Bengals. Indiana goes to Iowa, right? Indiana goes to Iowa to see if they can play that slow it down game and see if they can take care of business there. Auburn and Texas A&M. Auburn loses their first game to Oklahoma, and they're right back at it, heading down to College Station and Kyle Field to take on Texas A&M. Tennessee goes to Mississippi State. Iowa State, our guys, fighting Rocco Becks. They host Arizona 3-0. A top 10 matchup. There's a bunch of top 25 matchups, but this top 10, top 6 matchup, Oregon travels to Penn State, to Beaver Stadium, to take on the Nittany Lions. I like Oregon, man. I really do. I think they're a team that doesn't get enough love because they're out west. That's a big matchup early on in the Big Ten, and then Alabama and Georgia. I mean, this could be one of those things where Georgia wins this game. I think they can put a kibosh on the season for Alabama. This could be that thing that really starts the perpetual downfall when it comes to the Crimson Tide. You're going to Georgia. You're going to Athens and Sanford Stadium, and I just want to look at the rest of the schedule for Alabama. After the game against Georgia, you're playing Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee, 3 ranked teams in a row. Go to South Carolina, and then LSU, Oklahoma, and then, of course, Eastern Illinois, and then you finish the Iron Bowl, Auburn. I mean, Alabama could have 4 or 5 losses this year. I mean, that's before anything else. They're 4 and 5 losses. Like, they're not going to be anywhere close to the hunt of the college football playoff. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. So keep an eye out for that. And then that's when the whispers start getting louder and louder and louder. Keep an eye on that, no doubt. Knowles drop 1 spot. Yeah, I mean, it's just the way it goes. Let's see. Christopher Cole, he saw the Panthers beating the Falcons. Didn't see a blowout, though. No doubt about it. Clemson is FSU last year. I wouldn't go that far, DT, because last year, Norvell, I mean, they just made a bad move with DJ. That was just a bad move. And when you're in the NIL and you give that guy, and you were banking on Clemson background, a well-traveled guy, it didn't work. It was a bad mistake, and it put you behind the 8 ball there. So it's different because I don't know if Clemson's going to be able to bounce back next year like we're seeing Florida State bounce back this year. Rob Higgins, we don't start his press conference by saying we don't do press conferences, we do celebrations. I like that. I love Rob. Again, Rob Higgins joins us at 12:30 tomorrow on the program. Connor's Music Company, Penix. I saw this one too. 0-4 when the other team scores more than 7 points. Yikes. Miami. Chan. Oh my God, I cannot wait until Bama finally gets removed from the playoff discussion. Tired of their other BS. Alabama can have 6 or 7 losses this year. All right, there you go. If the USF team played this Bama team, we beat them 9 times out of 10. I know. Not saying that they would have, and I totally agree with you, but I would love to see this USF team play Alabama. Them's the breaks, folks. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I am everywhere, guys. I need you to like. I need you to subscribe, and I need you to kill that like button right now. Shout out to our guy Ben Fletcher, man. We miss him. Age 21 today. He's working at High Point University. Miss you, Coach. I wanted to show some love. Miss you, Coach. Ah, man. I miss this guy. Ben Fletcher. Year 21 starts today, and he talks about like missing Mir Abdur-Rahim and man. Sucks, man. Sucks. Miss him. Really do. Crazy, bro. Crazy. Shout out to Ben Fletcher, man. We love you and we appreciate everything that you did. DT, hey, real quick, have you heard anything on Vazzy? No. Hey, I'm not leaving yet. I still got about 20 minutes left of the show. Don't be going nowhere. You suckers. Don't be going anywhere, suckers. Get back here. Real quick, have you heard anything on Vazzy? No, it's just a minor thing. From what I hear, it's not anything serious. They're going to take their time, but it should just be like a week or two, and then he'll be back. He'll be fine. All right, let's talk about some of the things. Again, big thank you to Chan. Drugs for Adults. Guys, continue to contribute with the super chats too. Every little bit helps. Please bring it on. Bring it on and support our sponsors as well, Honest Hammer and Ever Health. So, what the hell happened this weekend? First off, let's go with the WWE WrestlePalooza stuff. Like, I don't know what happened, but this PLE was not good. Not good. And you know it's not good when ESPN themselves write a review on it and they say that it did not deliver. That's not good, man. They were building this up. I know people that spent $30 just to watch it. If you have a cable provider, you're able to do it, but you have to go online and go through all these different things like I did. Not easy. John Cena losing a squash match to Brock Lesnar when he only has a couple of dates left is probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. You do things like that, so there's like a return, there's a payoff, there's a receipt, there's a get back. Bro, there's not that much time. Like if you get your ass beat and somebody comes out to save you or like you, it's just not good at all. Hated it. Not good. Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky, I think it started slow, but it really kind of it got into it. It was really good. The Vision against the Usos. I don't understand why we need a guest referee. LA Knight doesn't make sense. Jay gets busted open. The finish stunk. He got jacked up. It was that again. This was supposed to be like a big time thing. There was supposed to be a bunch of surprises. Where was the surprise? That Paul Heyman was introducing Brock Lesnar? That doesn't make sense. Okay, that was cool. You teased it on SmackDown. What was the surprise? That Stephanie McMahon is going into the Hall of Fame? I thought that was awesome. But like that's not selling pay-per-views, right? The mixed tag was the best one. It really was. I thought it was the best part of the whole show. I think AJ Lee grew into it. She got better. And some of the combo moves that they did, I thought was fantastic. I really liked it. The last match was meh. It was meh. It was a C or a D, in my opinion. Cody looked jacked up. He looked like he glitched out a couple of times. Like, I am a big time proponent of the WWE and wrestling, and I'm always going to give you a lot of love and I'm always going to support. But man, it sucked. It sucked. I didn't like it at all. Didn't like it at all. And I'm just like, damn, man, like, better. You got to be better. You're ESPN. Like, this is supposed to be something real. Like, this is supposed to be the real deal. It just left very, very underwhelmed. Soccer side. Man U, big win over Chelsea, 2-1. They're up 2-0. Casemiro gets another yellow card to get a red, so it's 10-on-10. Robert Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, probably one of the dumbest things you're going to see, gets thrown out, red card, 5th minute of the game on a challenge on Brian Mbeumo. Man U's dominating. They score 2 goals, and then Casemiro just opens the gate for them to possibly come back. They hold on to a 2-1 victory, much needed. But the story over the weekend is Arsenal and Man City. And people are going to look at Arsenal and go, wow, Gabriel Martinelli scored. Another draw, 1 point. But I'm glad it's not. Let me say that again. A lot of fans are pissed off with the way that they attacked. I don't understand how Arsenal continues to try to look at themselves as a small club, that they're not a top 6 club, that they don't spend $100 million on strikers. It's just so strange. Strange that that's the way that they go about their business. They're never going to win the Premier League like that. Again, you're at home. Man City is not as good as they once were. They're parking the bus in front of Gianluigi Donnarumma in front of the net. And you're just like, it's just such a... And Arteta and like, that's okay. And now fans are getting pissed. Arsenal fans are not happy with the way that they approach these games. And I don't blame you. If I'm Arsenal, I just got just as long as they get a striker, as long as they get a number 9. All right, you got Victor Gyökeres. You went and got Eberechi from Crystal Palace. Like, now what? And you don't even start Eze in a game against Man City? Like, Arteta, man, you're destined to just be the bridesmaid and never the bride. I got no sympathy for you whatsoever. I got no sympathy for all these MLB teams that are just like leaking oil down the stretch. It's so wild to watch some of these teams look like they don't even want to make the playoffs, right? You look at a team like the Detroit Tigers. They've lost 6 in a row. They're 1-9 in their last 10. And the Cleveland Guardians are just nipping at their heels. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They freaking lost yesterday. If they would have won, they would have tied. Like, man, that's so crazy. The fighting Parker Messick's. They've battled all the way back. I'm just so happy for them, what they've been able to do. Mariners with a huge weekend, beating the Astros, winning 4 straight, 9-1 in their last 10. They're in control in the AL West. I don't know what's going on with the Mets. They're 4-6. They've lost 2 straight. They're in a tie with the Cincinnati Reds, and the Reds own the tiebreaker. You could talk all that stuff about Juan Soto and, oh, man, look at the attendance. Look at how great the attendance is this year. What the hell does that matter if you don't make the playoffs? You're on the outside looking in right now. You've lost 2 straight. The Rays are officially done. We'll talk more about them here in a minute. In about 2 minutes, I'm going to give you my thing on Stu Sternberg. We're going to wrap this thing up with my thoughts on Stu Sternberg. But you look at these teams eliminated, look at these teams hanging on, like Houston, like faltering down the stretch. I tell you what, you look at Cleveland, they've been playing well. You look at the Yankees, like the Yankees seem to be kind of finding their groove. I love the acquisition of Jose Caballero. They're a lot more athletic than they were last year. They need to play good defense. Going to get Ryan McMahon was big. When I look at the Yankees and I think Ryan McMahon, I know Volpe struggled, but he at times can be a Gold Glover at shortstop. He's won one before. Jazz Chisholm and Paul Goldschmidt, I like that. Judge is healthy. You have Grisham in center and Cody Bellinger in left. I mean, that team looks different than they did last year. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. And what happens with Toronto? They've been in a comfortable lead there in first place in the AL East for a while, but can they kind of push it over the line? We'll see. We shall certainly see. Man, what a game yesterday, and I'm glad that we're looking at everything that's going on. Ben was a great interim leader, but Coach Hodge is going to be great. Yes. I don't know if a coach has ever made an impact before the season has started more than Coach Brian Hodgson. Like, he's everywhere, dude. He's everywhere, and I'm so excited for basketball season. Robert says, how do you let Brock squash Cena? They must have Vince Redding again. That's a good one. I like that, buddy. Call me a homer for John Cena, but I was very disappointed when I watched him get ragdolled in the end. No, I don't think you're a homer at all. I think you're spot on. The same thing as I said before when it came to John Cena. Like, I don't want to see him. Like, I don't want to boo John Cena. I'm not even like a big John Cena fan, but down the stretch, I don't want to see heel John Cena. It doesn't intrigue me whatsoever. They tried it. It didn't work. Move on. I also want to see him get ragdolled. Win. You already won the title. Have good matches. If you lose a match and it's like close, fine. But getting squashed by Brock, for what? Nostalgia? Stupid. Glad you're calling it soccer like the true American patriot you are. Yes, soccer, football. Football, soccer, I call it both. Whatever. Depends on how I'm feeling. First team to win in the 76 throwback jerseys. It took the Bucks 50 years to win a game in the 76 throwbacks. Yes, and I know a lot of people are mentioning that, and they're like, oh, the throwbacks, and that's the reason why they lost. And Baker kind of made light of that too. It is what it is. It really is what it is. I can't wait to be able to talk to Rob Higgins tomorrow, man. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Again, 12:30 tomorrow here on the program. The great Rob Higgins, the CEO of Athletics, is going to join us right here on the Jay Recher podcast. Jay Zielinski says football. He's very good. The football, yes. All right. We're going to end the show today talking about former Rays. We're going to end the show today talking about soon-to-be former Rays owner Stu Sternberg. Now, I just this whole thing, like all this pomp and circumstance of him being the ball boy and getting a standing ovation and all that stuff, like incredibly self-serving and just totally unnecessary, in my opinion. I mean, yes, I get what he did, and he's not a bad guy at all. My interactions with him have been pretty good, and I don't think he's a bad person, and you want to compare him to the guy that was before him, like that's fine, but I am not going to be one of those people that is going to look back favorably on his time with the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, to me, what I remember, and listen, coming from me, I hope this resonates with you guys, and I hope you realize, like, I'm usually an optimist. I'm a pretty positive guy, but I can't stand how the Rays have been run. People joke around like it's a poverty franchise, and they say all these terrible things, and people are not proud to be Rays fans. They're just not. They're not proud like they are to say they're Lightning fans or Bucks fans or even USF fans, like on the growth. Like it's not the same thing with the Rays. There are some people, I don't want to say nobody, but it's not the same. If you're a casual Rays fan, it's not the same. You're not trying to go out of your way to claim them. And he has been a big reason why. Remember, this is the guy that was moaning and groaning about profit and loss statements during FanFest. Like when people are dealing with having trouble putting a roof over their heads and keeping food on the table for their family, the last thing you want to do is hear a guy that owns a professional sports franchise that he's taking a loss on his P&L statement. This is also the guy that thought the solution to keeping baseball here in the Tampa Bay area was to split the season in Montreal. Terrible idea. Terrible. And also, this guy put a sign up at Tropicana Field to try to invoke excitement. And they took it down, and he went on air and apologized for it. Like, it's funny how we forget things like that. Stu, to me, was the guy that always made you feel guilty for why the payroll was so low. It was always the fans' fault. It was always the attendance. It was never like, hey, I'm going to do this, and you guys follow me. There was no Pied Piper type of mannerisms or examples from Stu Sternberg. Just wasn't. He didn't go about it in that way. This is the guy that alienated his most fervent ally in Mayor Ken Welch. Ken Welch put his name everywhere and supported Stu through thick and thin constantly. And now it's like that bridge is like napalm, burned. Think about how many times that Brian Auld and Matt Silverman have had to defend this guy's actions over and over and over again. And I've had conversations with Brian and Matt, and it's just like a lot of the times it wasn't decisions they made, it was decisions Stu made. They were running their own mini PR campaign to defend Stu Sternberg. I mean, this guy's own business partners tried to sue him. And again, I'm not saying he's a bad guy and that he didn't do some good, but I'm not one of those people that are going to look back fondly on his time here. I said it before when it came to USF, and I'll say it again here. He made all of you out there, the most diehard Rays fans, victims and acting like scorn lovers. And, you want to like hate on the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Mets and the Dodgers instead of loving your own team. You're bitching and moaning about things that you have no control over instead of supporting the guys that you have. I don't like the way Rays fans act towards like their place in the world of baseball. It's one thing to be a plucky upstart and one thing to have that underdog fighting mentality, us against the world. But there was just so many like whining and complaining instead of going out there, putting your money where your mouth is and supporting this team at all costs. Now, again, does Stu have something to do with that? Of course. But I don't think that the fan base helped either. Like, it's a catch-22 here. I believe that the Rays have been good in spite of Stu, not because of him. And yes, you could say he put people in place. Yes, you could say you can open up those ideas, and those guys did a good job. That's fair. That's fair. But it was Stu that set up those circumstances the way that they were. You didn't have to be the lowest friend. You didn't have to be the lowest payroll. There could have been more creative ways to be able to make this team more money. You didn't do it. You could have spent 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars more. You could have taken a little bit more of a hit. Don't tell me that you're hurting for money. Professional sports franchises don't depreciate. You're getting revenue sharing every single year. You're getting money from TV deals every single year. And I read the article from John Romano about how he treats his employees. Yeah, that's all good and well. But I've also heard some pretty bad stories about it as well. And I'm not going to throw those people under the bus, but I've heard some not so great things as well. And to me, as a person that consumes the product, that kind of stuff doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Because as much as you want to be empathetic about something like that and feel what they're feeling, that doesn't affect the end all be all, me as a fan, me trying to spend my disposable income to support your team. Yeah, it's a great thing that you treat your employees well for the most part, as this article said. That's fine. But if you work at a restaurant and you're the head chef and you treat all your sous chefs and all your waiters and all your servers well, and your food sucks, or the people don't have a great experience at your restaurant, you're going out of business. How does that not ring true? How does that not resonate with you? And maybe the food is good time to time, but the service wasn't great. People would say, yes, it's good, but I didn't really like the experience. I probably won't be back. That's how it is for the Tampa Bay Rays. So for Stu, good luck in your future endeavors, buddy. It's time for a change in this entire organization. Enough is enough with being the doormat and being the laughingstock and the joke of professional sports and Major League Baseball. I don't care about the results on the field, about like being able to compete. And this, you haven't won a World Series. You haven't done it. You've made it to 2. That's it. You're getting farther and farther away from that one in 2020. Not making the playoffs again. So enough of the hey, we're just happy to be here. We're just trying to compete. Let's get an owner that has a high priority, a high standard. What are the standards for the Rays? Can anybody tell me? You can't. Because they're not very high. They're not. Time to take it up a notch. Time to bring the Rays up to where everybody else is at. Enough of this little sisters for the poor kind of thing. Enough of this scorned lover. Enough of this woe is me kind of bullshit when it comes to the Rays. This is a baseball town. Baseball courses through the veins of people in this city. We got to get a team and a franchise that this city is proud of. We got to get guys that are lifetime Rays players, drafted here, developed here, stayed here, retired here. enough of cultivating the seeds for other teams to be able to take advantage of the players here. That's not the way you grow a fan base. People are scared to buy jerseys because they don't know if guys are going to be here. Enough. Things have to change. You deserve better as a Rays fan. I'm sick of feeling like I'm the defense attorney for fans here in this town. I don't hate the Rays. I want to see them do well, but the way that they go about their business, like, time to raise the standards when it comes to the Rays. So, Stu, best of luck, man. Appreciate all the good that you did, but it's time for a change, no doubt. That's going to wrap it up for me today. I hope everybody had a wonderful time. A nice 2-hour show today. Karen Clemente, always the best. Thank you so much, Karen, for reaching out. Follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I'm everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube if you're watching, regardless when you're watching. Kill that like button. Big shout out to my guy, Ian Beckles, the best, joining us every Monday at 2:30 here on the program. And thank you so much for the super chats from Chan and Daffa. I'm going to call you Daffa. Drugs are for adults. Thank you very, very much. Tomorrow on the program, 2:30, Rob Higgins, new CEO of athletics for South Florida, for USF, is going to join us on the program. Hopefully you will be here too, DT and the whole crew. I love you all. Thank you so much for the support. Everybody be safe. Have a happy and healthy Monday. Enjoy the game tonight. Lions and Ravens should be a good one. We'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on the – wait, real quick. Honest Hammer, EverHealth. I love you both. EverHealth, our first day here as a partner on the podcast. Love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. And Honest Hammer, my dude, right here. We love you, buddy. Thank you, Russ. You guys are the best. All right, I'll see you tomorrow for real this time, right here on the Recher podcast. I am gone. Deuces.